Yo, what's up? I see Rob in the house. What's up, brother? So, it's a little bit of a different format today. We're starting a little bit of a different format for this week, considering we have Australia to talk about. This is the promoter, No Limit Boxing. You Aussies will know who this is. So, I do multiple live streams a day. This week, I'm gonna do 2 live streams a day, right? Because I live in Sydney, but 60% of the people who watch my content, 70% of our Discord, which is pinned right there. It's a couple bucks a month. It's a professional betting Discord. It's not just boxing, it's MMA, American football, it's all sports. Click the link to learn out more. To learn more, 70% is in America. So I do my normal morning Australia live stream, and now this is the first time I'm experimenting with a nighttime. So it's 6:30 p.m. right now in Australia, and tomorrow morning I'll be doing my 7:30 a.m. So all week you got one in the morning and one at night. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to be a little bit more formatted on these night ones. We're going to stick to um, the fight card, and we're going to talk about the upcoming odds. We're going to talk about the upcoming fights. There's two major cards. My boy Rob in the house. There's two major cards. There's this one, and then there's one in America with Alexis Rocha and Royal Curiel. And then we also have that rematch with Gucci Flores and Jorge Chavez. So we're going to be talking about all those fights. I'll bring the odds up in a second. We're going to talk about, let's see. I just want to pull up the full card first. People are going crazy outside. So it's in Brisbane. It's this Friday night. Tszyu versus Zerafa. If you ask me, let me pin this real quick. As you guys are checking in, I don't expect tonight to be too busy, considering I've never streamed this late before on my channel. So the goal is to tap into more of the Aussie crowd. And if you're new to the channel, I say welcome. What we do here on the channel is we break down all boxing throughout the week internationally, and we go over the odds. I give you my picks, and then I go lives every single day. And if you've been an OG to the channel, I say thank you. So the main card, this is in Brisbane. I personally feel this should be Nikita Tszyu versus Michael Zerafa. True blue boxing heads will know these guys. You know, no matter if you're in Australia or elsewhere. This is Nikita Tszyu. This is the younger brother. The odds right now are 50-50, which are kind of interesting. The odds, literally a coin flip. So I'll be uploading my Stats Don't Lie video tomorrow on Nikita Tszyu and Zerafa, and that's going to be the edited breakdown, analysis, and prediction of this fight. If you're new to my channel, you'll find all of those edited videos under the playlist Fight Predictions. I'm still kind of torn, I got to be honest with you, where I'm going to put my money. You have to think Nikita Tszyu, he's green, he's less experienced. He, by no means has fought the level of competition Mick has. He's awkward. He's a hard-hitting southpaw. I think he has one path to victory, if you ask me. And I also feel this should be Nikita Tszyu this should be Tim Tszyu instead of Nikita. All the people in the Australian boxing landscape will kind of know the runaround they've been given Zerafa domestically here. This guy's gone abroad his whole career, and for some reason, the big promoters here, No Limit, has kind of vilified Mick Zerafa. And this is what we have. We have Nikita versus Michael Zerafa. It's a coin flip. We'll see how this goes. I feel literally Tzyu's going to want to land something big. I was talking to one of my buddies today who's fights in the, he's an amateur Australian. He's getting ready for the Commonwealth Games. And he brought up a good point. He was talking about how Nikita Tszyu is awkward. And this is from my buddy who boxes. His perspective, he's like, sometimes it's difficult to fight these awkward fighters, guys who aren't doing things technically, guys who aren't giving you these sort of reads that you usually get. And I feel Nikita's path to victory is landing his backhand, his hook. We've seen it before. It's really hard for me to put my money on Nikita right now, considering I've watched his entire career. He doesn't have a lot of fights. I was ringside at, some of his fights. He went life and death with Ben Horn. Shout out to the Horn brothers. He does have a win over the young fella that just won the WBC Grand Prix. So, say what you will. Gaz says that Zarafa's the safe bet. But then again, when we look at Zerafa, you're putting your money on a guy. We've seen him stopped early. We saw him fight for world titles, so we do know he has the world level pedigree. He got stopped early against Lara. We saw him stopped a couple different times. So they are meeting at kind of a catch weight. Nikita fights at 54, Zerafa fights at 60. I think they're weighing in at 72 kilos, somewhere around there. We'll get to that. We'll break that down specifically as we get closer to Friday nights, and we'll pull up the odds. I want to look at the undercard. My boy's fighting on this undercard. Shout out to Liam Talavaha. Liam Talavaha is a underdog on this card. He's fighting. We'll pull up the. There we go. There's the full card. He's fighting Steven Ivich. We watched Steven Ivich fight in a fight of the year. I was at that card as well. So usually if these fights are in Sydney, I'll go. This one's up in Brisbane. I'm not flying up there for this card. Liam Wilson's on the card. Shout out to Chalk's son, CJ. Raheem is on this card. You got Dempsey McKean. You guys will recognize Dempsey McKean. He got stopped in his biggest step up. He's fighting Toesi Vasuatu. And it's a pretty decent card, man. I'm not mad at this card. There's some interesting domestic dust-ups, if you want to call them that. GK, bro, this is my first late live stream, big dog. So this is me experimenting on the channel for, I guess we are an international channel, you know what I'm saying? Because of my American accent, 70% of the subscribers are Americans, but I live in Australia. I know we come from all over the world. So this week I'm experimenting with this late night live stream on my end. I'm going to be going live twice every day. Finally catching the late night live stream. Matthias knockout was unreal in person, bro. Yeah, dude. It was fun while it lasted too. Felt like the London Bridge was falling down. Luckily, I had Dalton one night. Good boy, good pick. I hit 16. I picked 17 bets yet this past weekend. 17, right? And this is the nature of the business that we do. So, I appreciate those who defend me, when all the trolls come out, because from my position, it's par for the course. It comes with the territory. Whenever I put myself out there and I give you my winners and the people I think is going to win, it's like the trolls are waiting in the shadows for me to lose. So this weekend, I went 16 for 17 on all my picks. And I started out 16 in a row. I won a lot. I won a lot of money this weekend. The only fight I did lose was I picked Subriel to beat Dalton, and I put that on a separate ticket. But you can check the receipts. The only fight I missed. And, sure enough, everybody, even the boys, I don't expect to get flowers or credit when I win. I expect to get hate when I'm wrong, so it's all good. But good pick there. It was a decent little card, I got to admit it. We streamed it in the Discord. There were some exciting fights, and that Dalton Smith versus Subaru Matias fight was fun while it lasted. Kudos to Dalton, man. Dalton didn't know he had that dog in him, and I said it all week. He's gonna have to prove it to me. He proved it to me. And both guys got sent to the hospital. So it was no cakewalk. It's just that, everybody who sided with Dalton were leaning on the fact that Subriel gets hit too much. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I'm watching the fight and I'm like, what is he fucking do? We know what we're getting into with Matthias, right? We know what we're getting into with Matthias. But it's just like, dude, everything is landing? Like, motherfucker, can we slip a punch out this bitch? And, it was electric, man. You were there. That had to be amazing. You're going to remember that moment forever. 100%. I don't know how old you are, but when I was 27, my best friend growing up, I think I've told this story before on the stream, as a kid, it was Kelly Pavlik, and I was in Atlantic City at the boardwalk when Kelly knocked out Jermaine Taylor to become a world champion. And I think the boardwalk only held 5,000 people, and I swear 4,900 of them were from Youngstown. I was living in LA at the time, and I flew back to watch him fight, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget. It was a back and forth. Kelly got dropped for the first time in his career early. He had to weather the storm, and then Pavlik stops Taylor, I think, in the 7th. But yeah, whenever you're in person for moments like that, you'll never forget it. Dude, I love Snatch in the house, baby boy. Me too, brother. We still good. Boxing booth. Logic says Zerafa, but Zerafa loses. He's straight to the no bet list. Guys, I can't get right with Subriel, man. That's 3 fights, and this is why I put him on a separate ticket. And you boys in the Discord, man, you see the receipts, the long parlay, my method of victory parlay. None of those parlays had. Now, the 2 month long parlay had Subriel on it, but our week to week long parlay, I didn't put Subriel on that. I didn't put his fight on my method of victory. I'm 0-3 in his last 3 fights. You know what I'm saying? I picked him to beat Liam Paro, and he lost. I picked Alberto Puello to beat him, and Subaru won. And then I picked Dalton to lose, and Dalton won. Subaru's on my no bet list. Subaru's on my no bet list. You guys know Brandon Figueroa is on my no bet list. And Mick Zerafa just won us money, though, man. Zerafa, remember like 8 weeks ago, him and Nikita were given layups. They both got early round knockouts against guys that shouldn't have been in there. So, look, logic to me says Zerafa easy money based off of his world level experience. He's the craftier boxer. He's the boxer. He's slick. His ring experience. He's good. He's the bigger dude. Nikita's only path to victory is his backhand. And he doesn't set it up. He doesn't have any feints. He's super inexperienced. He hasn't fought in a while. Nikita's coming off of injuries. And logic is Zerafa all day. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still kind of torn on Zerafa's durability. Kind of long in the tooth now. Nikita just having that sort of X factor with the last name. But I was there when he got dropped and almost lost to Ben Horn. I know that was early in his, it was a couple years ago now, but that's hard. Ben Horn, I'm pretty sure wasn't it, I'm not talking about his brother who was a world champ who beat Pacquiao and lost to Bud. I'm talking about Ben. So it's a tough one. Sometimes you watch too much. It's like sometimes with boxing and doing what we do, picking winners, sometimes you can become a victim of seeing too much. I know too much, and then it starts fucking with your logical reasoning. What's up, Noah? I can see a knockdown prop. 100%. We're gonna wait till those props hit. I'll pull it up in a second. I'll check Sportsbet. I've been looking at Sportsbet and Bet365, but we know it's early in the week. I didn't think I'd have 20 of the boys in here. Like I said, I usually live stream 12 hours earlier. This is the latest I've ever gone live, and I'm going to be doing it this week for the Aussies. So wherever you are in the world, I say welcome. Could you please like this video if you haven't already subscribed? Join our Discord. It's a community. It's a betting community. It's a bunch of D-gens in there. Now, it's professional. We have boxing. We have MMA. We have American football. We're launching baseball this year, NHL, all sports. The boys are going to talk me into starting an esports channel in there. Might as well start an esports channel. Bro, I'm keen for Hergovich, Caballero, and more. Let's go, Gaz. What's up, Gaz? Jake Salvador. What's up, big dog, Jake? Rob Lee, me and my pops had Pavlik in that fight. Yeah. Yo, you see, that's Kelly right there. So that's a magazine right behind the dice. That's from 2006. I tell the story all the time. Kelly and I grew up playing Little League Baseball together. So our bond is real dope. Every time I talk to Kelly, I want to talk to Kelly about his boxing career. He always wants to talk Little League Baseball with me. Well, yeah, that's a good one. I was at Fury Wilder, too, with my dad. See, our boxing chat's legit. When I was 17 and I sat ringside next. Yeah, these are core memories, bro. These are core memories. And, high-level boxing, world-level boxing, world-class boxing. Dude, you being a Matthias Dalton Smith is awesome, bro. The energy in there, especially for how they both fought. And this is going to get lost in Subaru Matthias's loss. And the True Blues understand this, but Matthias brings that out of you. And that's where my hesitation with Dalton was. Matthias forced it. I did not think Dalton had that in him to fight Subriel that way. And it was like even watching the in-between rounds, because Dalton was getting hit. Dalton had to go to the hospital too. It's not like Dalton was bruised up, swole. He was taking some bombs. And In between the fourth and fifth, Dalton stopped him in the fifth. In between the fourth and fifth, Dalton's corner is talking him kind of off of the edge and like, hey, bro, you don't have to fight this way. You don't have to fight this way. And they're working on his face, and he's trying to push his corner and his dad out. He's trying to get back in there. He knew. It was a very brave performance by Dalton Smith. I became a fan last night. Look, all the trolls could talk shit when I get a pick wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I don't do this for them. I do this for the love of the game. And the one thing I am is authentic. And I wasn't a believer of Dalton after the Matthew Germain fight. I wasn't a believer of Dalton after the Jose Zepeda fight. Even watching his tape, all my questions were answered last night. Now we're gonna have to see, all the other things about like how technical can he be? Can he beat a guy who won't brawl him? Can he beat a guy who's more skilled than Subriel? All of that doesn't matter for me now. I know that he has that heart. And they call him Thunder for a reason. I was kind of offended initially too that I was I'm a kid. I'm an '80s, born in the early '80s. Arturo Gatti was one of my childhood heroes, and so even him having that nickname Thunder, I was suspicious. I'm a loyalist, dude. I'm like, what are you talking about? I need to see that shit. Well, I saw it, and I'm a fan now, man. Shout out to Dalton. We got a new champ at 140. Laughing my ass off. Matthias curses real. I had him against Paro, and then I bet against him on play. I had to break. Good boy. I'm glad you broke it. I'm glad you broke. I didn't break it. Dude. He's the only fight. Now that I think about it, Subriel, Omar, and Brandon Figueroa are my curses. Like I'm pretty good, boys. Like I do well. You can see you guys know that's why you're here. You see the receipts. But I struggle with Subaru Matias fights and the Figueroa brothers. Omar Figueroa, I don't want to if you've been on my channel long enough, you'll know these stories. Omar Figueroa and then versus Abel Ramos. That bet. I won't say how I lost so much fucking money on that fight, dude. And then you watch how Omar fought Abel Ramos, dude. What are you doing, dude? And then Brandon Figueroa versus Cool Boy. What are you doing, dude? And now Figgy got another fight. No bet list. Brandon Figueroa, Omar Figueroa, Subriel Matias, no bet list. Yeah, that's right. The first round knockout, both of them, they were fighting civilians. Liam Wilson, Nelson Solomono, the boss Christos, Ozzy. So yeah, you boys like Nikita to knock out Zerafa. I want to look. All the boys taking Nikita to knock out Zarafa. I want to hear a method of victory. I want to hear a game plan. I want to make sure that it's not because I know, the Aussies, there is a love affair, rightfully so, with the last name Tszyu. So I want to know why. Is it just because Zerafa, his durability is questioned at the highest level? Because I could agree to that. But how's Nikita going to get in there? Is he going to bait? Zerafa's a crafty world level guy. Very experienced, bigger, longer. So I need to know that you're picking him by knockout, Nikita won by knockout, by something other than the adoration of the last name Tszyu, because we get that a lot here in Australia. Not saying that that's your reason. MZ is a proper cat, has no tickets, went to the fight Lara with his sister. Dude, I'm a fan. Look, I'm a fan of Zerafa, bro. Who had cancer. Isn't that enough to show her to beat the odds? Nikita, but Michael Zerafa is a proper cat, has no ticker. Went to fight Lara with his sister who had cancer. Isn't that enough to show her to beat the odds? Nikita by knockout. They only sold 2,000 tickets at Barclays. The Puerto Ricans were very upset at the fight. I totally agree with surreal watching Dalton take the punishment and dish it back. Mate, bro, I couldn't believe he was fighting. I could not believe that was his game plan. He made a decision. You know what it was? It was that ego. First round, Subriel was getting touched with everything. Normal Subriel. Second round, Subriel turned it up. And now we're even going into the third. And now Dalton was like, if I let this dude get me another round like that, it's gonna start going that. And bro, I already rewatched. That's a fun fight to see again, mate. My boy Rob Lee says I'll be at Andy Cruz Moritaya with over 10 G's on Cruz. That's my boy right there. Rob Lee is one of the only other dudes I know who's my age. He's a little bit older than me, who's still repping the abs too. Rob Lee, we old heads. And we still in shape. We still good. And we're natty too. You know, all these other old heads, you know, cats in their 40s and 50s on gear and steroids and HGH. I'm on water, recovery, whole foods, sleep. That good boy. Fasting too. We talked about that in the Discord. Was Dalton Matias an early stop? I mean, bro, the longer you're in the game, I've been in the game my whole life. I'm not making excuses. Subaru was hurt, but I've seen fight just on. Did you watch the German card? Did you watch the co-main event of the Ajit Caballel fight? Oh my God, the co-main event of the Ajit Caballel fight, we won. You know, we got up on that fight, or not the co-main. The Croatian kid versus the German kid. I think the referee just let him die. Dude, the referee should go to prison. It was the total opposite of what we saw with Subaru and Dalton. That referee in Germany, if that was the dude in New York, he wouldn't have stopped it. So there's just so much gray area. I mean, Subaru was real hurt, and it didn't help Subaru's body language when he went down to the canvas. He laid on his back. You know, when he did that, he lays on his back and then he rolls. I was like, damn it. The optics of that didn't look good when you watch the whole sequence again. So I'm not mad at the stop. Have I seen? I mean, did you watch Emmanuel Navarrete versus Liam Wilson? The ref gave Emmanuel Navarrete a 27 count. So the longer you're in the game, you see both sides. So he was hurt, man, and Dalton Smith is obviously a killer. So I wouldn't be that upset with it. Have I seen refs let stuff continue? Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to see a rematch either. Maybe. I mean, that was a fun fight, bro. Maybe. I don't know. Did you hear about possible fight Hitchens versus Frank Martin? I'm here for it. I like Hitch. Give Frank Martin a world title fight at 40. I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm high on Hitchens, though. I'm a big fan. I like Richard's whole game. I like his whole bag. I like his technique. I like his jab. I like his feet. I like his speed. I like his fight IQ. The thing I was questionable about with Hitch, he answered that for me against George. Can he have that highlight reel moment? Can he fight psychologically and get out of his comfort zone? Can he push the pressure and punch with the guy? And he did. And he went, he had his viral moment. I expect Hitchens to continue to look better and better. Nikita leaves the window open with his flare. Dude, Nikita is so green, bro. Nikita doesn't move his head, doesn't have setups, doesn't have feints, throws all of his punches at one speed, doesn't hide his backhand. He tells the whole world what he's going to do with his backhand. Gets hit a lot. I mean, people saying Nikita is going to knock Zerafa out, they're just banking on the fact that Zerafa is going to stand right in front of him in a trade. That is going to be Nikita's game plan. It's his one path to victory. It's why you see in these face-offs, Nikita's all running. Nikita's a cool cat, man. I've been around him when I was working with fighters out of Bondi Boxing. He's a cool dude. He's a different type of cat. He's a cool dude, man. Everybody loves him. He's kind of like a class clown. This was at least a couple years ago. He's the dude during media day who's like running behind you and tapping you on your shoulder and running away. He's trying to wrestle with the NRL guys. He's a cool cat. And Zerafa, man, he's a professional. Michael Zerafa is all business, dude. And he has some class to him, man. Not everybody is going to go undefeated with a 90% knockout to win ratio in their career. It's boxing. You get knocked out. But he's classy, man. His path to victory is way more has more options than Nikita's path to victory. And when we get closer to the nitty-gritty fight night, it's going to come down to the style of betting. You know what I mean? Like, what sort of bettor are you? Are you a big unit bettor? Are you a parlay guy? Are you a dog hunter? Are you a sharp? Are you a chalk? So all of these things, it all depends. So for me sitting here, you guys always get my picks, but you also have to learn that what style are you betting, because I was telling the boys in the Discord, if we go into fight night, now I think Michael Zerafa is the better boxer. I think Michael Zerafa should win this fight. I would be shocked if Nikita wins. I would. He's just not a good boxer. Flat-footed, boxing, the sweet science. Nikita doesn't do it. He doesn't. You know, he's great. He's kind of. I don't want to call Nikita. I like Nikita, man. So I'm not talking shit about that. Zerafa's been boxing his whole life. Boxing, the art of it, the sweet science. Zerafa's a boxer. Nikita's kind of a kid who, if Nikita's name was Nikita Allen and his last name wasn't Tszyu, do you think he would have these main events in you know, that's fine. I'm not hating him on for that. I'm not hating on him for that. But to finish that thought, I was telling the boys in the Discord, come fight night, if Tszyu is a big enough underdog, and you're kind of like one of these bettors and you're just betting $10 on a fight or $25 and you're trying to like 6x your value and you're just trying to do it for entertainment, why not take Nikita by knockout? But if you're coming from my end, I can't really do that because I have my reputation on the line. You know, from what I do, for instance, this past weekend, I get 17 bets. I went 16 for 17 and I'm still getting cooked. So if I don't go 100%, I'm getting cooked. You know what I mean? So it just depends what type of bettor you are. If I'm looking at it from a coaching perspective, how they box, who's the better boxer, who's doing feints, who's setting traps up, who's countering, who's using the whole ring, who's using their feet, who's angling, who's turning. I mean, that's Zerafa. He's doing all that. Nikita had, but you know, and on the other end of that though, the few fights that Nikita's had in his career, he seems like he puts the work in. But guys, he's a new father. He's coming off an injury, coming off a surgery. He had one round, but before that one round, he hadn't fought since the October before. He's going to be. I think Zerafa should be able to handle it like a sparring session. Have a good night, y'all. Look, my guy, appreciate you too, brother. Appreciate you, Rob. Appreciate the support, professionalism as well. What's up, Lloyd? What do you think about the co-main, the big boys? This is the rugby boys, right? Dempsey versus Tszyu Visuatu. I was at his last fight. I was at are you talking about Liam Talava'a? Because Talava'a versus Steven Ivich is a fun fight too. Talava'a and Tszyu remind me of Django. Yeah, man. And this is another one where it's gonna be hard for me. Because you know, I call Liam a friend. I was interviewing Liam right when he turned pro in 2021, 2022. He just loves to crack, and he just has that God-given that power some guys are just born with. We've seen him get stopped against the Bull, and then he got his get back against the Bull, Brandon Gratch, and I was at both of those fights. He's entertainment. Liam is in. I freaking love Australian heavyweight boxing, by the way. I tell anybody who wants to listen, dude, I love the Aussie domestic heavyweights, boy. Them boys don't give a shit about their health. They go in throwing bombs. Who's that big old 6'9" former Olympian who's like 50, who's like a surfing? He looks like a surfer. I've seen him, but that boy, they don't care about their health. Them boys are throwing bombs. No defense. Yeah, Nikita needs to fix his defense, but please, Michael Zerafa is a very average fighter who has been beaten with a name. Nikita has more mongrel. You think? Give me one. Let's pull it up, big dog. All right, guys, we're gonna take a look at Zerafa's BoxRec real quick. Just to remind everybody his resume, who he's been in there with, what he's done. You know, this will be his 40th pro fight. 34-5. He's been stopped twice. Of his 34 wins, 22 of them are by knockout. 65% career knockout to win ratio. Out of 1,958 fighters in the world at middleweight, he's ranked number 9. I mean, the guy has over 200 pro rounds, 5'11". He's going to be the taller guy. He's going to be the longer guy. He's going to be the more experienced guy. He's only 33. It seems like Zerafa's been around forever. Let's look at that resume. The pop-ups on BoxRec are insane. So, yeah, you know, Tommy Brown, you know, he fought for a world title against Lara, got clipped early, got stopped. You know, beat Creative domestic, Hardman domestic, Noai domestic. I mean, he fought Chalk Mundine when Chalk Mundine was obviously on the way out. He loses to Jeff Horn. Zerafa was down in round 9. You know, he went 1-1 against Jeff Horn. Horn down, and you know, in 2 fights against Jeff, 1-1, lost 1. He lost against Kell Brook. Rewatch the Kell Brook fight. I mean, Kell Brook was a legit world champion. Wade Ryan. I mean, yeah, his best wins are domestically. Every time he stepped up, he's lost. There's something there. There's definitely there's definitely a conversation to have. Every time he stepped up at the world level, he's lost. How much does he have? I mean, he seems motivated to me, though, boys. I mean, it's not like he's getting the paycheck. So he's fighting in his 40th pro fight here, right? This will be his 40th pro fight. This is Nikita's BoxRec. This would be Nikita's 12th pro fight, okay? Wow. 48 pro rounds, southpaw 27. I mean, Nikita's best win. He went life and death with Cohen. Is that his best? I mean, Dylan Biggs just won the WBC Grand Prix. Dylan was real green in that fight. I mean, look, Nikita is entertainment. I'm looking at all that. It's that Ben Horn life and death fight that I can't get past, dude. This dude almost got stopped against Ben Horn, boy. Y'all cast is wild. But Jack Brubaker was a decent domestic guy. That was a fun fight. Brubaker was on his way out, though. It wasn't a prime Brubaker. The Dylan Biggs win is aging really well, man. So if you want to, here's the conversation. And look, I'm still not sure where I'm going to put my money. But if we're looking at resumes, right, and we know on the channel, you got to look at more than just resumes. But that's what we're doing now. If you're doing the resume conversation with yourself and you're figuring out where you're going to put your money, you do have an argument to take Nikita, because then you got to tell yourself, Mike's best wins domestically. Yeah, he has the stronger resume, but every time he stepped up against these stronger world champion types, he's lost. And a couple times he got stopped. Right, his best wins are domestically. And when you look at Nikita, you'll say, yeah, he is green, he's raw, he's awkward. Doesn't have a lot of experience, but he has a win over Dylan Biggs. That's a good win, dude. Dylan just won the Grand Prix, the WBC Grand Prix. That win has aged well. So an issue also, though, is like coming off that injury, up until that layup he got 8 weeks ago, he hadn't fought in over a year. It's an interesting one. Maybe it's a half unit bet for you boys. Adu, Zerafa currently the slight dog. How do you reckon odds? I don't think they'll shift that much. I think it'll be like this, 6-7. I just learned that. I got like a 9-year-old nephew. I saw him last weekend. He was teaching me what 6-7 was. I was at the Evich versus Toesi fight. We hit a 15 legger that night. My boy in front of me won $20,000 that night on my picks. He gave me $1,000. I was like, you don't have to give me shit. That fight was insane. I like Liam, mate. I'm going with my boy. So I'm taking Talava plus money. If I still get Liam at plus money going into fight, that's my dog of the week. I'm not going to bet against my boy. I'm going to roll the dice with Liam. He, southpaw, he could take a shot, big puncher, training with Johnny Lewis. Coming off a big get back. He got stopped against Brandon, and then he got his get back. And fighters who get their get back, it's almost like a reset, especially if that was their only L. I like Liam here. And Liam got a little class to him too, boy. Liam isn't that... you might think that Liam is just this one big puncher, but, he's never fought in a 10-rounder, but he's a big boy and he can move a little bit. He's slick. If Zerafa was a good fighter, why would he be fighting a prospect? Because Adam Kelly, and Nikita's not a prospect. He's a contender. He's ranked number 11 in the world. He's not. I wouldn't be calling Nikita a prospect, bro. Look at this. Nikita, when you're ranked number 11 in the world at middleweight, you're a contender. You're not a prospect. And before the breakup, this fight was supposed to be Tszyu. Everybody knows that. This was supposed to be Michael, Zerafa, and Tszyu. The breakup happens. Tim is, not really wanting to fight Zerafa for years. That fight should have happened a few years ago. So that's why they're fighting. and it's not really that sort of triangle theory. If whataboutisms really doesn't work in this because one's ranked 11 in the world, the other one is ranked what's Zerafa 8. So if you remove Australia from the mix and you're just looking at statistics, this is a battle of the number 9 ranked fighter in the world and the number 11 the number 11 ranked fighter in the world. So it kind of makes sense. Yeah, Johan Lind. Yeah, Johan Lind. Johan Lind, boy. That big motherfucker. He looks like he's straight up from a anthropology book. Johan Lind looks like a cat that would have been born like 350,000 years ago, boy. He was an Olympian, though. Johan works, he has a tech job right over here by the crib. Drew with Ivich years back. Who am I thinking of then? Oh, Johan did. I was at the it was like fight of the year like 9 months ago. Wasn't it Ivich versus maybe it wasn't Ivich. I go to so many of these fights. It was on the undercard of Sam Goodman versus Cesar Vaca. I'll find Sam Goodman, Cesar Vaca. It was a heavyweight fucking war, back and forth, and we picked the dog. And the dog was at plus 275, and we hit a 15 legger that night. It was insane. It was yeah, I was right. It was Steven Ivic versus Tszyu Vasuatu. That was a freaking insane fight. It was close too. Biggs was on last minute replacement. I'd love to see rematch with full camp. Same. Liam Wilson fighting a Filipino. Dude, the Filipino, I think, might be live. Surely No Limit will get him in line for another world title. Yo, I was looking at the Filipinos tape, man. You guys have to remember what happened to Paul Fleming a few years ago. They brought in another lesser-known Filipino who just happened to be Charlie Suarez, and Suarez stopped him. Fleming's only loss. Fleming was on the cusp of a world title, and then we know Suarez, that propelled Suarez into the Emmanuel Navarrete fight, and we got Navarrete and Sugar Nunez coming up. Boys, we got some great fights coming up, boys. I respect that, Johnny, for sure. When Ivich wins, I think he should move on from domestic land. He is. He is. Dude, same. I mean, this is a good, what would we call this, guys? We would call this a crossroads fight for both men. You know, Ivich has, I remember taping him. I taped him for the Tszyu Vasuatu fight, and he had a good pedigree, 7-0. Didn't have a lot of, people judge him on those only 2 knockouts. It's a good fight, man. I think it's, Liam's backhand's nice, dude, and he got a big ass neck. Talava got that fucking. Looking forward to this one, McKean Toesi. Yeah, you guys should recognize Dempsey McKean's name. Kiki versus Vasuatu was the war. Yeah. Vasuatu, boy. He's always in wars, bro. No, he's always in wars, mate. That dude get crack, dude. Watch the Vasuatu Ivich fight. That shit was crazy. I love Australian heavyweight boxing, boy. Like I love domestic Aussie heavyweights. These cats they all got full jobs. Some of them, dude, they go to the gym for the hang. Some of them are like, could make a jump. There aren't a lot of them, so sometimes you see rematches. Not a lot of promoters, so a lot of them aren't getting heavily promoted. But boy, they fucking fight, dude. We can't buy this. What? How is that even a thing? Guys, get in our Discord. They got them illegal streaming joints. We watched we watched the whole dude, they were charging $85 for Subaru Matthias Dalton Smith. So we jumped in that Discord, boy. Shout out to who should I'll keep that on the low if the feds are listening. Let's pull up the odds, boys. I would look, and I always buy the cards, but I'm not dropping $85 on Subaru Matias with the promotional company. It was Subaru's promoter. They outbidded Eddie in Matchroom, and it was a good card. It was a fun card. These are the odds. Let's look. Let's have a look. What'd you guys think of Javier? Did you guys watch Javier Herrera? That was a he got dropped. All right, so Glenn Jennings, if you know Glenn was a long-term manager of Tszyu. He manages Nikita. He was managing Tim his whole career, but Tim left. I remember Glenn Jennings was telling me about Billy Polkinghorn like 4 years ago. He like the people in his camp, people are high on Billy Polk. So if we get prompts for a stoppage, I'm playing that all day. Yeah, if that opens up, boys, that's gonna be my prop. Let's check out Bet365 real quick. Billy Polk by stoppage is gonna be the move if they give us there's gonna be some feeder fights on this card for sure. There are some 50-50s though, boy. Right now I like Liam Talavaa as my dog. And I like Billy Polk to get the stoppage. We'll see if CJ Mundine, Chalk's son, is on this card. Yeah, they're not giving it to us yet. If that opens up, put an asterisk by that fight. All right, this is an interesting fight, mate. Have you guys taped Rodex? Rodex Piala? Some people have been in my ear saying Liam Wilson might be on upset alert. He hasn't, to me, man, Liam Wilson has not looked right. Even though the fight against, was it Jonathan Navarro? On the undercard of Liam Paro and David Papeau. And then I know he had another fight recently. My bad. Ayrton Jimenez. So yeah, we taped him on the Ayrton Jimenez fight. Jimenez, man, way more craftier than a lot of people gave him credit. He was an Argentinian fighter. And then Jorge Santana. And then let's check out Rodex Piala. 2 people messaged me on Instagram today and said that Liam was on upset alert. 12-1. I got to tape him. I haven't seen any tape on this kid. Filipino, 5'7", 1 knockout. That screams amateur style to me. No. BoxRec's amateur records are always suspect. Kenji, he has a loss against Fujita. Yeah, I mean, in a span of like a couple years, Liam Wilson, he just hasn't looked right to me. New Zealand has never been able to watch. That's so weird. What, do the Rose brothers not like the Kiwis? Number 1 BS. That's ridiculous. Tell the Rose brothers to get after it. Polk from ASB Gym. They pump out some damn good amateurs. Yeah, they do. Gratch, doesn't he train with? I know Glenn manages him, but are they all at the same gym with like Brandon Gratch, Amber Amelia, the little pocket rocket girl fights out of there? Or is that a different gym? Newcastle, right? I want to see if they put props. So no props aren't out. It's still early, boys. I'm gonna ask you guys a poll question I put up on my Instagram. It's a little bit off topic. It's about the 140-pound division. Let's look at I'm gonna look at the tally of odds real quick. Yeah, we're not getting props. We'll wait to the end of the week. Guys, you know what? I'm gonna be going live late every night this week. So I appreciate the support. I didn't even expect to have 20 people. We peaked at 30. So I'm happy with that. And then I'm gonna be going live my normal time around 8 a.m. all week. The schedule is 8 a.m. live streams and 6 p.m. live streams. So you're gonna get me twice. My first Stats Don't Lie video will be uploaded tomorrow. So be sure to check the channel out under the fight prediction playlist. All week, I'm going to be doing the Talava'a versus Ivic fight. I'm going to do the Tszyu versus Zerafa fight. I'm going to get to that Rocha Curiel fight. I'm going to get to the rematch between Gucci and Jorge Chavez in America. So stay tuned, guys. We got a lot to talk about.